Good evening, everyone. I'm Rochelle Pinder-Cuffey, Director of Student and Community Affairs. It's indeed my pleasure to welcome you to our first session of our Part 2 orientation and to the CUNY School of Labor and Urban Studies, SLU, a school dedicated to public service and social justice. Before we get started, there are a few housekeeping items that we like to cover. One, we invite your questions. You can use the chat throughout the orientation to post questions. We'll also post information and links in the chat throughout the orientation. We ask that everyone remain on mute unless speaking to the group. You will have an opportunity to unmute yourself and engage others in your program during this orientation. If you have not done so already, please change your Zoom name tag to include your assigned program code, along with your first name and last name. We have put the program codes in the chat for you to refer to as you make those changes. The orientation is being recorded. You will have access to the recording and to the resources that we shared throughout this orientation through Blackboard. More details will be shared during the Blackboard presentation later tonight. Lastly, we welcome your feedback on the orientation. So please take some time at the end of the orientation to complete the survey that you would be given when you're in the breakout room. The theme for this orientation tonight is Together We Succeed to Transition Towards Transformation. The global pandemic and historic social movements have led many of us to adapt to the changing world. From creating virtual community on Zoom, like we're doing here tonight, taking action to change long-standing inequity and injustice in the systems around us, to transforming our work and our lives. And as our society transitions to a new normal, you have chosen to transition to a new phase in your life, student. We're honored that you have chosen to pursue your studies at SLU. There will be many experiences at SLU that will lead to personal and societal transformation. It may be your study of labor, urban, and social justice issues confronting New York City and our nation, your professors, your classmates, your academic advisor, the resources and support services available at SLU. And even though some of us will not be together in person this fall, I want to challenge each of you, whether you're in an in-person or online class, to make connections with your classmates, your professors, the staff, and to take full advantage of everything SLU has to offer in person and virtually. We're so excited to welcome you into our community. We also have an outstanding team of professionals here tonight who will support you at every turn throughout your time at SLU. We'll take a moment now for some of my colleagues to introduce themselves via video. Others you'll hear from later tonight. Hi, I'm Rochelle Pinder-Cuffey, Director of Student and Community Affairs. Welcome to the CUNY School of Labor and Urban Studies, CUNY SLU. You've probably heard that CUNY SLU is a special place, and it is. We hope that you take full advantage of everything CUNY SLU has to offer. We're excited to welcome you to our community.
Hi, everybody. My name is Padraig O'Donoghue, and I'm the Manager of Student Support and Retention here at CUNY SLU. We welcome you to the new semester, and we're here to support you on your journey toward your degree.
Hi, my name is David Unger, and I'm the Program Coordinator and Advisor for Undergraduate Certificates in Labor Studies and Labor Relations. We're so happy to have you here as we try and build power and make change together.
Bill Reiner, I'm the coordinator of the SLU Writing Center, and I'm excited to welcome you on behalf of the Writing Center's wonderful, dedicated staff.
Hi, one and all. I am Maureen Lamar, the Program Manager of Labor Studies. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are in the right place to be studying labor and urban in what is the largest city and the most unionized state in the Union. I think it's going to be a fantastic journey, and we will hopefully make it an easy one. Our doors are always open. We can't wait to see you in class.
Bienvenidos. My name is Irene Garcia Mates. I'm the academic advisor for the Labor Studies Program, graduate degrees. And I hope that you have a very productive semester. And I hope that you create a lot of connections and also take advantage of support services.
I'm Kevin Simmons, Academic Program Coordinator for the Healthcare Certificate Program, Resident Leadership Academy Program, and the Transit Certificate Program. Welcome to the School of Labor and Urban Studies orientation, and good luck in the spring.
I'm Steve Greenfeld, the Program Manager of Urban Studies, and welcome. We're so glad that you're going to be studying with us at the CUNY School of Labor and Urban Studies. I hope that I have the opportunity to meet each and every one of you as you complete your program.
I'm Samina Shahibi. I serve as the Academic Advisor for the Master of Arts in Urban Studies at CUNY SLU. Looking forward to collaborating together on your academic, professional, and organizing goals.
I'm Joman Tolentino, and I'm the Coordinator and Advisor to the Community Leadership Certificate and the Public Administration Certificate programs. I look forward to supporting you this semester, so welcome to the CUNY SLU community.
Hi, everyone. My name is Crystal Joseph. I am the Program Coordinator for the Community Semester Experience, which brings together activism and theory and puts it all into practice. I'm excited to meet everyone. Welcome to CUNY SLU.
As you embark on your educational journey, it's worth pausing for a minute to reflect on this transition and to celebrate the strengths and qualities that you bring to the SLU community. I'll turn it over to my colleague, Irene Garcia Matos, for our community building activity.
Hi, apologies. Microphone was off. Is everybody hearing me okay now?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, so I'm here tonight with two wonderful students, two of many that we have in the School of Labor. And I'm going to ask Nick and Deborah to introduce themselves and then mention the program that you are in.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nick Pineda, and I am in the Labor Studies program, in the Master's program for Labor Studies.
Deborah?
My name is Deborah Alves, and I'm in the Workers Community Program. It's a Master's Certificate Program.
Thank you. So, as you heard from Rochelle's remarks, we have been experiencing a global pandemic, and we have witnessed a surge of social movements calling for a more fair society. And at the same time, people have taken some actions. Deborah, can you tell us what actions you have taken as an example?
During this time, you may have taken some actions and some adjustments and relied on certain strengths or qualities to help you transition into our changing world. Nick, do you have anything to add to this?
So for this icebreaker, what we want everyone to do is reflect on the transition that you're now about to go through as you enter the School of Labor and Urban Studies. And we want you to tell us what is a strength or quality that you bring into this transition.
So in a minute, you are going to see in the chat right there, you are going to see a link. And if you click in that link, every one of you, it's going to take you to a window. And please take a minute or two to reflect on what it is that you are bringing to this transition at SLU. What it is that you are bringing that is going to support you in this transition. Just a little thought, some words, and then after 1 minute, we are going to share the screen so you can see some of those responses.
Hi. So during this transition, we're going to use the prompt of I bring. And For an example, I bring an open mind and a caring heart to SLU.
Nick, what are you bringing?
So I'm bringing well, I'm actually going to read some of the student responses as they're coming in. And some of the students wrote, and I'm going to say I bring, like you wrote it. So I bring hope, I bring discipline, I bring patience and good intentions. Some students wrote actually yesterday. Students today wrote things like, I bring the propensity for critical thinking, which you're really going to need as we move forward.
Deborah, are you seeing some other contributions?
Hard work, again, courage, a love of learning, and perseverance.
And they're still coming in.
They're still coming in.
So
go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
Another student wrote, I bring creative thinking. I bring critical writing skills. The Writing Center can help you with that, even if you bring your own. They're really awesome. I bring faith. Oh, that'll get you right through. So please hold on to that. I bring a willingness to learn and share, someone else wrote, and I hope that you keep that throughout your studies here. It's all about staying in the game.
Right. Someone wrote, I bring practical experience. That definitely will help you along the way at SLU because your lived experience is valued.
I'm seeing that people are saying that they bring passion for advocacy and collaboration, passion for communication and teamwork, and motivation to learn from peers and professors, which are extremely important skills.
I see someone wrote, I bring dedication, resilience, hope, compassion, and understanding. Wow, that's wonderful. I bring care with much understanding, someone else wrote. Accountability and advocacy. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, I bring personal experience and dedication to helping disadvantaged young people as well as my community as a whole. Thank you, Latif.
Oh, Nick, what else are people bringing?
I really enjoyed that someone wrote, I'm bringing stubborn optimism that regular people can and will change the world. That is powerful.
That's wonderful.
Someone that's really, really powerful. And I really, like I said, this is the place to be for that kind of thinking, for change makers and folks that want to get the Cuomos of the world out of office. So, and somebody wrote that I bring drinks. Hopefully that's water.
I hope it's water.
As per the no alcohol CUNY's policy, I hope it's water too, yes.
Somebody else is bringing positive energy. That's contagious. Please keep bringing it. Not everyone will have it every day, but at least one of us has it in the class. It tends to spread throughout the class. A rebellious spirit and confidence in myself. Absolutely. Wow. This is the place to be. This is where you're going to read about the rebels, write about the rebels, and hopefully become one of the rebels. Although some of the folks in the school are really conservative and that word scares them. Let's go for it.
I want to read the next one. Let me read the next one. The opportunities to show there are different paths in life you can pursue rather than the typical jobs you hear as kids, such as accountants, doctors, or teachers.
Wow.
That's interesting.
There's another one that says, I bring a love of justice, both for the individual employee and for the public at large. And someone else says, rebels have a friend in me. Wow.
And in me.
Very nice. Very nice. Do we have time for a couple more?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So, something else that we missed?
Keep them coming. You can submit more than one time.
Yeah.
Now, I bring myself an open mind. I found that there's going to be extreme differences of opinion in some classes. And we have some really awesome professors that are really great at navigating those differences and giving everyone a voice. And you'll see in the beginning of many of your classes, we set that framework so that everyone can have a situation where they're having the most robust learning experience possible. And we're all here to learn. These folks have a plethora of information. Somebody wrote that they bring the opportunities to show there are different paths in life that you can pursue rather than the typical jobs you hear as kids, such as an accountant, doctor, or teacher. You know, I felt the same way about that exactly. I really feel like, doctor and lawyer is all that they were saying from, first grade through eighth, maybe even after that. And places like this that show you the different pathways, not just here, but being that we're labor studies, we're involved with unions, and pretty soon you'll be hearing about the student union and how that relates to the work that we do. Someone else just wrote that they bring tolerance and understanding. Vital.
Someone else wrote the knowledge of the, I just missed it a second. I'll move on to another one. I'll go back to it. I bring the willingness to do homework again.
So
I bring the
the
willingness
last one.
to open my mind to and explore different topics.
Okay. We run out of time. I just want to mention the last one that is really nice. Somebody is bringing magic, new and ancient. So thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Later on today at night, during the night, we are going to create a word cloud and we are going to share it with everybody so you can see all the responses visually. And so thank you very much, and thank you much, Deborah and Nick.
You're
You are
welcome.
invaluable. You are invaluable as students who are always helping us and supporting us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And we are back to Rochelle.
Thank you, Irene, Deborah, and Nick, and to all of you for sharing your amazing strengths and qualities. This is what makes the SLU community a great and special place to be. I can't wait to meet you around the halls at SLU. So as you navigate financing your education costs at SLU, two important services that you may interact with during your time at SLU are student account services, bursar, and financial aid services. It's my pleasure to introduce Shauna Palladino, our assistant bursar, to tell you a bit more about student account services and bursar services. Shauna?
Thank you very much, Rochelle. Hi, everyone. As Rochelle had mentioned, my name is Shauna Palladino. I'm the assistant bursar in student account services, and I'm going to be sharing a PowerPoint with you all. Okay. And of course, welcome to SLU, always. So you're going to be hearing from myself, from the Office of Student Accounts, as well as Phyllis from the Office of Fellowships and Financial Aid after me. So the Office of Student Accounts, or also referred to as the Bursar's Office, is the main hub for collecting all tuition revenue. And we are the gatekeepers of your student financial information. Our department is actually split up between bursar operations and scholarships. So bursar operations includes student billing and payments, refunds and direct deposits, your 1098-T forms, and third-party billing and payments. Whereas the scholarship unit handles the administering and the stipends for it. You're going to be getting this PowerPoint afterwards. So every blue link you see, they are hyperlinks where you'll be either redirected to the website or our quick reference guides or just our emails. So you can have some fun with this PowerPoint. One of the most important things about that the Bursar's Office wants you to know is how to find out what your balance is. And you can do so by obtaining your itemized bill. When I mentioned reference guides, If we hover over the navigation, it actually brings you to our reference guide for viewing your e-bill online. All you're doing is going through your student center and clicking a few buttons, but we want to make sure that you're fully aware of what your balance is. So if there is anything that you see that doesn't really match up, then you come straight to us and we'll review and fix if necessary. So due dates are very important for students in general. So as you know, August 25th is our first day of the semester, which means that your tuition is due by August 25th. Acceptable payment arrangements include paying your balance in full, approving your financial aid package, which covers all charges, enrolling in a payment plan, and or being a part of a third-party payment agreement. So if you are a part of a union that does provide tuition assistance, settling that before the first day of the semester is ideal, because if not, then you do risk having a bursar hold on your account, which will prevent you from further enrollment and other activities. Registering between August 25th and August 31st will also incur a $25 fee. So I can't stress it enough. Make all changes to your account prior to the first day of the semester. You don't want any extra charges on your account. Along with adding classes before the first day to avoid any extra charges, you also want to make sure that if you swap classes or if you drop any classes, say something came up and you're not able to attend anymore, you want to make sure that any changes, any drops that you make towards your classes are done prior to the first day of the school, because if not, then you are financially responsible for a portion of the course depending on when you drop it. You'll be able to see it on the academic calendar and you'll be able to click the link here. It'll direct you accordingly. Now, paying online for your tuition is emphasized and very much a lot easier right now, considering we're not currently on campus. We are a cashless campus, so it's either paying online or paying by check or money order. And with online, you can do either your credit or debit card, which covers the numbers on the front of your card, whereas the e-check option is your checking account number and your routing number. The credit and debit option do come with service fees, whereas the e-check option is free. You also have wire transfer options where you would just reach out to the bursar's office and ask for the wire transfer information so it can go directly from bank to bank. And as stated before, we have our payment plan. The payment plan does have a $25 enrollment fee, and it still abides by the 2.65% service fee that the credit or debit card payment option does go by, but it also allows you to break down your payments in possibly an easier way for you, depending on your financial status. And it prevents you from having bursar holds on your account. The payment plan also allows you to pay by e-check. So once again, e-check is the free option for that. The payment plan opens up as enrollment opens up. So at this point, because it is August 11th, we are in the 4 installment period. So when it first opened, we were in 6 installments. So if you were able to take advantage of that, then you are able to make smaller monthly payments. But as the months go by, then the payments that you make do end up being larger. So you want to keep that in mind as you continue your time here at SLU. If smaller monthly payments is what you want to, is what perks your ears up, then you definitely want to take advantage of it as soon as it opens up. And we send out communications to your SLU emails all the time about this, so you're not going to miss it. As mentioned, aside from paying online, you also have the option of paying by mail because we are not on campus. Now, this would be either by personal or teller checks or by money orders. Please do not put any cash in envelopes. We would very promptly return it to you once we've received the mail. And just make sure that any checks that you do send or money orders that you send are made out to CUNY SLU and they are not post-dated. Once we are open on campus, you'll be able to submit your money orders or personal checks to one of our representatives. If a representative is not available, then we will have a secure lockbox that you can drop off your payments. And third-party payments. As I mentioned, if you are part of a union, then you may receive some tuition assistance. And some of the unions that we've worked with in the past and currently include Credible Messenger, CWA 1180, DC 37, NYCHA, and TWU Local 100. Now, if you are part of one of these unions or a union that has not been mentioned, and you are eligible for tuition assistance or a voucher, you will need to provide a letter of credit or something from the union stating how many credits or a monetary amount, how much they will be willing to cover for you. You send that all to the bursar's office. And of course, college scholarships. We offer various opportunities for scholarships that include the Adult Learner Scholarship, Diversity, the Tuition Assistance Scholarship, and Mayor's Graduate Scholarship. Now, in most cases, accounts payable will release the funds within 10 business days of the university's census date, which for this upcoming semester is September 14th. But financial aid will disperse the scholarship to your bill. If there are any delays, you would hear it directly from us or from financial aid. And last but not least, financial aid is also another way that you can satisfy your bill by federal or state aid, and those payments must be approved to qualify as an acceptable tuition payment. The student is required to satisfy any amount that's not covered by financial aid. AKA, if you take out a loan that doesn't cover your full balance, or if you receive partial Pell or TAP, then you'll be responsible for the remaining balance, and the financial aid packaging would let you know what to expect. And with that being said, I am going to introduce my colleague, Phyllis Schulz from the Office of Fellowships and Financial Aid.
Thanks, Shauna. Hi, everyone. I am Phyllis Schulz. I'm the Executive Director of Fellowships and Financial Aid at the Graduate Center. We do provide financial aid services for the School of Labor and Urban Studies, as well as the School of Journalism. Just to give you a sense of what we do, we post the scholarships to your student accounts. We don't make the decision on who will receive scholarship, but we make sure the funds get dispersed. We review federal and state applications and process any necessary grants and loans. We do have a financial literacy curriculum that we share with students. If you are in a union that requires you to complete forms in order to be reimbursed for your tuition, our office will fill out that paperwork for you. And then we're there to answer any questions students may have related to financial aid. Next slide. So in order to be eligible for federal or state financial aid, you have to be in a degree-seeking program. Unfortunately, certificate programs are not eligible for federal or state aid. If you do require assistance, you may want to look into private loans in that scenario. Generally, students have to be US citizens, permanent residents, or some forms of eligible non-citizen. I think the most common is an asylee. And you can't have defaulted on a prior student loan in order to take out an additional student loan. Next. So in order to borrow a federal loan, students may not have exceeded the $138,000 aggregate limit. For a Graduate Plus loan, which is a specific type of federal loan, it will require a credit check. This is considered what credit worthy, which means they're not going to look at things like debt to income ratios, because frankly, if they did, no graduate student would actually qualify. So it's a simple credit check. And with the exception of Pell Grants or private loans, which we'll discuss later, students have to be enrolled at least half-time, for which at CUNY is 6 credits, in order to receive federal aid. Next slide. So types of financial aid. Scholarships are funds that don't have to be repaid. SLU does require applications, and so you definitely want to keep an eye on your email to see when these opportunities become available. We always recommend that students look into outside scholarships because there are agencies that may want to pay your tuition for you. That said, they are fairly limited for graduate programs. A good place to start are FastWeb and CollegeNet. These are often dedicated mostly to undergraduate programs, but if you're willing to put in the time and energy to look for and apply for different funds, you may find significant funding. Undergraduate aid is eligible for federal grants and state grants. There are no federal or state grants at the graduate level. It's really exclusive to undergrads at this point. Pell Grants are determined by a student's enrollment status and their estimated family contribution on the FAFSA. We'll talk about the FAFSA a little later. And generally, students have to have a very high need in order to qualify. TAP is the New York State Tuition Assistance Program. It is a state grant. It is limited to full-time students, which at CUNY is 12 credits or more. And it requires a TAP application in addition to the FAFSA. Typically, when you file a FAFSA, if you indicate that you're a New York State resident, you'll automatically be directed to the TAP application. And then the SEOG, the Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant, which nobody ever actually says out loud, but that's what it stands for, is another federal grant. At CUNY, we require that you be Pell eligible, and generally we can give you around $200 a semester. But at times we do find that there's additional funding and we will increase when that is the case. Next slide. So there are also federal loans at the undergraduate level. There are subsidized loans, which mean that there's no interest accumulating while a student is in school during a grace period or any period of approved deferment. Unsubsidized loans are also available. And that means that interest is accruing from the day the loan is borrowed until the day the loan is paid off. Whether you qualify for a subsidized or unsubsidized loan will depend on the estimated family contribution on the FAFSA. The amount an undergraduate applies for will be determined by their grade level. And the unsubsidized interest rate for the upcoming academic year is 3.73%. That will be fixed for the life of the loan. That said, next year's loans will have a different fixed rate. So this is specifically applied to undergraduate loans for this coming year. The link here will tell you what the limits are based on your grade level. CUNY does not automatically offer loans to undergraduate students. You will have to request a loan if you choose to apply, and you would do that through the CUNY First Direct Loan application. It basically gives you all sorts of details about what to expect when you borrow a loan. You indicate that you're interested, and then it will ask a few questions about your enrollment plans. And this is you can access this via CUNY First. For graduate students, it's really basically about loans on the federal level, and there are no subsidized loans. So all graduate student loans do accrue interest while a student is in school. Any graduate student who's enrolled for at least 6 credits can borrow up to $20,500 through a direct Stafford loan. The interest rate on that loan is going to be 5.28 for this year. Again, that will be a different rate for next year, but this loan will have a fixed rate for the life of the loan. And we definitely recommend borrowing that loan first before borrowing the Graduate Plus loan. The Graduate Plus loan can be used to cover any other expenses related to your education, minus whatever aid you've already received. It has a slightly higher interest rate, and as I indicated earlier, it does require a credit check. And then there are private loans available. I am not a big proponent of private loans. I think there really should only be an option if a borrower is not eligible for the federal aid programs. In most cases, private loans do not offer the protections that the federal loans do. If you have questions, you can certainly reach out to my office and we can discuss it further. So if you do want to apply for federal aid, we ask that you complete the 21-22 FAFSA. You can do it online at fafsa.ed.gov or at studentaid.gov. Our school code, we are one big unit, so it will actually fall under the Graduate School and University Center, and our code is 004765. Pretty much you submit that application, we'll get it within a week, and then the process will start behind the scenes to actually offer you financial aid. So what you need to do is monitor your CUNY First account. You'll have a to-do list there, and if we need additional information from you, it will show on the to-do list. You should also monitor your SLOOT email for notifications from our office. We generally have to send emails to your SLU account because the information, your financial aid information is protected by federal privacy laws. So if you don't check your email account, you could miss important information. And while we've been operating remotely, we did create a drop-off service for sensitive documents that's available on our website. You can also access it via the SLU financial aid website. You will receive graduate center credentials while you're a SLU student, and you'll use those to log into our drop-off site. It is secure, and it's the way that we recommend submitting information to our office. Next slide. So this is what your student center looks like in CUNY First. I stole this from one of my associate directors who was also a student. I want to just point out a few things because it is a little confusing. The finance area is where you'll find our bursar and financial aid information. When you want to accept your financial aid, you're actually going to click on View Financial Aid. If you click on Accept Decline Awards, there's actually nothing there. It'll take you to a dead link. So this is a pet peeve of mine, and I just want to warn you in advance that that is not a useful link at all. And then that's also where you'll find the direct loan processing form for undergrads and the supplement form for undergrads. Next slide. And then when you log in, this is again a sample from one of our other staff members. It'll show any academic year that you have aid posted for. To be clear, you'll click on 22 for the upcoming academic year. Next slide. So generally, the way that this works is you'll have your financial aid dispersed to the school first, and that will go towards paying anything that is owed to the school. If there are funds that exceed the cost of tuition and fees, the bursar's office will issue a refund to you to cover your living expenses. We highly recommend signing up for direct deposit in CUNY First, because then you will receive your refund quickly and directly to your bank account. And it also appears under your to-do list in the Student Center options. If you do not sign up for direct deposit, a check will be mailed to you, and that will go to your mailing address in CUNY First. We've learned that people do not keep their mailing address updated as much as their bank account information, so we really do recommend direct deposit. Next slide. All right, so we are, as of next week, we will be open from 9 to 5, 5 days a week. This week we are off on Friday. CUNY closes on Fridays during the summer. We are mostly working remotely. We will be returning with an in-person presence on Tuesdays and Thursdays in our physical offices. If you did want to see us in person, we would request that you make an appointment. I will say that for the most part, almost any issues you have, we can handle via email, phone calls, or Zooms. I don't really think that there's a need to come into our office, but if you really wanted to, you certainly can arrange an appointment with one of our staff. As a result of the pandemic, we also implemented a chat service on our website, and it's open from 9 to 5. So whenever we're open, the chat service is available. When you reach out to the chat, you will be speaking with a financial aid representative. It's not a chat bot, it's someone real who can answer your questions in real time. And just know that we are here to help. I know a lot of people think of financial aid as a headache. We understand that, but we are here to help you through the process, and we really are here to help you succeed. So I wish you the best, and if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to my office.
Thank you, Phyllis, and thank you, Shauna. I'm Padraig O'Donoghue, the Manager of Student Support and Retention. I'm just going to ask folks, there are some questions, a few questions while Shauna and Phyllis are still with us. Shauna, can you clarify the process for 1180 members again a little more?
Yes, I actually saw the little chat bubble pop, like the light was just flashing the entire time. So for CWA 1180 members, we have the voucher and the whole process outlined on the website, but what you'll do is you'll obtain the voucher from either CWA or from SLU's website. All you really have to do is go onto the website, click the magnifying glass, and type in CWA 1180. It'll bring you right there. You will fill out your portion of the voucher. You'll then be required to send it over to the registrar's office of SLU. Once SLU is done filling out their portion, they send it over to CWA 1180. They confirm how many credits you have left in your bank, the courses are eligible and everything. They sign it and they send it back to me, to the bursar's office, and then we update your account. So the first step is you filling out your voucher and sending it over to registrar. If for any reason you feel that the process is taking a little bit long or you haven't heard anything, I would say reach out to the registrar's office to see if they already sent it over to CWA. And I do see someone just uploaded the voucher to the chat room. Thank you very much, Sherry, if I said that right.
Thanks, Shauna. A student has a question about the adult learner scholarship. When will they hear back about that application?
That is contingent on the search committee. We don't have any dates at the moment, but as soon as we know, believe me, you will know.
And as an international student, is it possible to apply for a scholarship?
I will have to review the stipulations. Each scholarship does have its own stipulations to it, but what you can do is email bursar at slu.cuny.edu, and we'll be able to talk more in depth there as well. DC 37, I am going to ask you to also email me at bursar because CWA 1180, it's just stuck in my head because I work with it so close.
All good, all good. So be in touch with Shauna or Phyllis related to following up with their offices if you have any other questions. And we appreciate you all for asking these questions, and just stay in good touch. That's the main thing, and stay in communication, particularly before the semester begins. And thank you, Shauna. Thank you, Phyllis. Really appreciate you being here. And we're going to transition now to talk about Blackboard. And we have Kraffens Valsen, who's the Blackboard coordinator at SLU, who's going to talk to you about this instructional learning tool, which many of you will be utilizing during your time at SLU. Kraffens.
Hi, thank you, Patrick. Blackboard is the platform that most of your instructors probably will be using this semester for online teaching. Even though they might be using other tools such as Zoom for the daily conference, but most of the content such as the syllabus, Word document, PDF might be loaded into your Blackboard course. Let me share my screen to show you how you can access your Blackboard. Okay, all right, here we are. So basically, to go to Blackboard, you open the web browser on your computer, you go to cuny.edu, which is the university main site. And on the right side right here, where it says login, you select Blackboard. And your credentials are the same as CUNY first, which is first name, that last name, last 2 digits of your info ID, and whatever password you set when you set up your CUNY first account. So once you get into Blackboard, this is basically the main screen where you see all your courses. The one that you are registered for are listed on the left side here under My Courses module. And to access a course, all you have to just click on it and it takes you to the course content, whatever the instructor sets for you. For this demonstration, we also have what we call an SLU orientation resources for fall 2021, which is where all the content regarding orientations have been added, and most of you already have access to the course. And soon, probably after this conference, Patrick or Rochelle probably gonna make it available so you guys can access it. So to navigate to the course, usually the course takes you to the main screen, which is a welcome or announcement page where the instructor will add some content to help you navigate to the course. And on the left side here, you have what we call the navigation menu where you can click. It's just like a book or PDF file where you click and it takes you to that main page. You have a folder here with different content where you can access some web page that you can open, and some are PDF or Microsoft Word file, even videos. So this site is being updated with all the orientation resources, and it functions just like if you were taking a class online. Once you registered for a course in CUNY first, the next day it will be here listed here on your Blackboard site. And if you have any issues, any difficulty accessing Blackboard, you can open a ticket with the help desk and they will assign it to me and I will take care of it right away. Any questions so far?
So far, there's no announcements or anything accessible for this class. Is that correct?
This orientation, there's an orientation course that if you log in, it should be there, but it's not accessible yet because it's not open. Patrick and Rochelle are still working on it, adding new content. Once it's available, you will get a notification. As you are getting your email address from SLU, that should be also loaded into Blackboard. So whenever there's a content added to that orientation or any classes in which you are enrolled, you should get a notification to that SLU email address. And also you can access Blackboard from the Student Center. There's a link there. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Thank you, Craffens. Do you mind popping your email into the chat for folks if they want to follow up with you? And we will transition on now to talk about the SLU Student Union. I want to welcome, thank you, Craffens. I want to welcome Miriam Lopez, an alum of the Masters in Labor Studies program, Nick Pineda, who just spoke with us a little bit earlier, and Glenn Gield, all connected with the Student Union. Miriam was part of the inaugural Student Union last year, along with Nick as steering committee members, and Nick continued, we got revoted to be as an officer this year and is joined by Glenn Gield. Welcome, everyone. And I just want to ask folks a little questions to talk about student leadership and the value of the Student Union and how students can partake in the Student Union work. Nick, can I start with you? Can you talk a little bit about the success of passing the student activity fee petition and being elected in the first SLU Student Union this last academic year?
Sure. So this past academic year, the Student Union launched, and via a vote, we put out a survey like we often do in order to make our decisions at SLU. And those of us that were voted in, thank you for your votes if you were here. But we got together and we put together a activity fee petition as one of the first things that we did. We launched that. We needed 20% of the student body to participate. We went out into classrooms virtually, and we got in and we were able to reach that 20% and secure the vote and get our student activity fee passed. And so then we sent out another petition to find out what students wanted us to do with that, with those funds. And so we've still, everything is still coming together. So if you were to get in now into the Student Union, you'd be a part of still the process of solidifying the kinds of things and activities, because COVID set us back to be able to be indoors or virtual or however it is that we do it at this point, from this point moving forward.
Thanks, Nick. Miriam, can you talk about your experience on the SLU Student Union and being a labor and urban studies program? We called our student government the Student Union, and we have great pride in that. Can you talk a little bit, Miriam, about your work, particularly on the University Student Senate?
Sure. So first of all, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Patrick, for having me on today. It's nice to see so many faces that are going to be new to the SLU family. So yes, I was a part of the SLU Student Union, and as a part of the union, I also got an opportunity to be a part of the University Student Senate. The University Student Senate is a committee that is comprised of members from every CUNY university. So all of CUNY is represented, and there are several delegates that are picked from the student union and to represent the school and to talk about different issues, policy issues that are happening for CUNY-wide. And it was a really enriching experience being a part of that. Not only do you get to sit and listen to and vote on policies that affect students directly, but you also have a chance to be able to meet and collaborate with other CUNY schools. So as the student union continues to grow and, you know, more programs and different activities are set for the students, any member that's a part of the student senate, university senate, will also be able to help collaborate with other CUNY schools to make those events even bigger and you know, and provide support. So I encourage anyone that is interested in learning more about the kind of the behind the scenes of how policies are made and changes are made for CUNY-wide, as well as anyone that is an advocate and wants to really kind of advocate for the student body, to look into it and to think about, you know, participating as one of the University Student Senate leaders for SLU.
Thanks, Miriam. Glenn, can I ask you to tell us a little bit about the work ahead for the academic year 21 to 22 and the student union?
Obviously, the biggest work at SLU and anywhere else is transitioning with COVID. And do we come back into the buildings? Do we stay remote? And I have been active, and I've been very fortunate that I can participate as a student union member in the school's reopening committee. We have been meeting quite often throughout the summer in the so-called off season. And as rules and laws change, the school is morphing along with that. I've been with this program since 2013, a rather long time. I've been with SLU as it transitioned, coming into its own as a new school in 2019. I was enrolled during this whole COVID initial breakout, and I can say with confidence that all these faces I'm talking to tonight, you made a great choice in coming to this school. The administrators and the faculty really do care about your education, your safety, and they are taking every step to ensure that whatever happens in August, September, and the months going forward, it's going to be in your best interest. So rely on them for information and make yourselves available virtually and reach out, stay informed, and you and all of us will get through this and, you know, have the best result you possibly can at the end of your endeavors.
Thanks, Glenn. Returning to Nick, can you talk about your work on another body, the Academic Governing Council, and how that went?
All right, so I almost let it slip the last time. In the Academic Governing Council, we actually is how we formed, was part of how we formed the student union. Before we could get those bylaws and everything else presented, we actually had to present it to Greater CUNY at large and get approval and get a vote and everything else. Started back with the Academic Governing Council in 2019. And I've been there ever since. And we review in the Academic Governing Council and review everything from instructors to changes in the physical space, the budgets and curriculums. We go over those kinds of things. And so I encourage you, new students, and I know you've gotten a lot of information today, but these little bits coming from us, the students, I mean, you know, the reason why we take, you know, time out of our lives and come and do this kinds of stuff is because this is the kind of school that this is. The folks are involved and they care. And I mean, not every one of us has time, but if you have it and you have the bandwidth and the capacity, then please do consider these kinds of things because they actually put your education into practice. We have union meetings, we have votes. I mean, even the structure of how union meetings are run with quorums and with, you know, folks voting to end the meeting, start the meeting, those kinds of little details that you just really won't get unless you actually have a job in a union. You'll have them happening right here in real time. So I just really want to encourage you to take the opportunity, if you can, to become a member of one of these bodies and jump right into the water. And it'd be fantastic to meet you. And I mean, you know, Glenn and Iriam really were really integral parts to my success, even as a student. just because they're just, again, it's just another group of people with a wealth of information that can help you along your journey. So joining the student union happens via votes. You'll see emails come out to your email. Somebody wrote that in the question, so I'll really quickly address it. We have votes for the different parts of the student union. So like the treasurer, et cetera. And generally, if you run, you'll be doing something. So nobody's left out so far. I mean, if we get so popular, I imagine someone will, but we figure it out. So please do, when these emails do come out, I'm very active. I'll put my email in the chat. And so you can reach out to me and I'll keep you informed as best I can. And if not, I'll point you in the right direction.
Thanks, Nick. Ariam, and going on with the theme, can you talk about the value of taking on a leadership position and how it helped you grow in your time at SLU? And Ariam was our student speaker back in June at our graduation. So really proud of you.
Thank you. That was an honor. And I got to say, I mean, working at the, for the student union and being part of the University Student Senate was all coinciding with my last year. So I was also doing my capstone. So it was a challenging year, not gonna lie, but to be honest with you, those challenges came together when we were being able to push through policies, making sure that we had that student union, making sure that we were having a voice for SLU at those meetings. It made it all worthwhile. And on top of that, the skills that you're learning, like Nick just mentioned, as being part of any of these committees, is extremely valuable. I mean, you take those skills everywhere you go, from advocacy to us, being able to run the surveys and do all those analytics. I mean, we really are kind of all hands on deck, and you get to be a part of that. One of the things that I really enjoyed was the fact that, yes, there are these different titles that you can obtain in these different committees, but in essence, we're all part of the same group, right? So we all work together to get, whatever mission, whatever it was that we were trying to push through. So it is just overall a really supportive group, and it's really something that you want to incorporate, if possible, if you have the time, along with your academics.
Thanks, Ariam. And Glenn, just to wrap up, how do students get involved? Nick alluded to it, but can you speak a little bit more about that?
Yes. First of all, you can, Patrick, if you can put up the link for them to follow when our next student union meeting is. It's open for the whole student body to attend. It's not a closed session just for the members and the administration. I encourage it. It's great for you to get exposed to what we're discussing, what some of the old problems are that we're following up on, as well as new issues and issues you yourself may want to bring us up for us to address. You'll get to learn by seeing what we're doing, what the different positions are, and what responsibilities fall into their roles. And also, it's going to take a little while once you start this semester. I think it's April of next year that the next elections will come around for the next term and the next body of members. And again, as Nick and as Ariam said, just get involved, throw your name in the ring, because there's a lot of churn as people graduate. They're not going to be on these committees and these student unions, and you'll get your turn. And it's great when you can coincide with your first year being someone else's last year, because we do want to help you. We want to keep this thing alive and growing. And it's great to see all the new faces and people want to get involved. And it's not just the student union. We have the faculty student disciplinary committee, which I also sit on. The training for that was invaluable. It's a panel that's CUNY-wide throughout all the schools. They handle complaints and allegations of sexual misconduct. It's something that I don't expect I'll ever have to sit on, and I hope I never do. But again, I have the training and I feel confident I'll be able to handle it. And there's also the student election. Patrick, help me out, the CERC.
Yeah. So basically, we will probably have openings for the AGC during the fall, but for the student union, the officers are set until the upcoming. They're set through the upcoming academic year. There'll be openings we'll be announcing people to run in early spring, and please partake. Once you're in SLU for a semester, you can run, and we encourage you to run. We want this to be a very active and participatory place. And Rebecca asked the question, is everyone a member of the student union of paying admission fees? Yes, everybody's a member. We just want you to come to meetings, become more involved, and stay in good touch. And we can do that remotely and in person, but just stay in good touch. And I want to thank Glenn, Miriam, and Nick for representing our students so well, and looking forward to continuing to work with you all. And I'm going to turn it back. Oh, and one reminder from IT, please activate your SLU email, because much of the communications from the school will be going to your SLU email. Please activate that. We'll have an IT presentation next week, but once you're in as a student, please activate your SLU email and use it, please. And thank you again, the Student Union, and I'll turn it back to Rochelle.
Thank you, Patrick, and thank you, Miriam, Nick, and Glenn. I saw a couple questions in the chat asking about other student organizations, and just want to say that one of the work ahead that lies for the Student Union is to actually create student organizations for students at SLU. So again, get involved if there's an organization that you're interested in. Speak to the Student Union, and we can do the work of making sure that we get a group of students together for that organization. So as we promised, we will show you a word cloud of the strengths and qualities that you bring to SLU. Together we succeed with our collective strengths and qualities. I was already blown away by what was read. So let's take a look at the word cloud to see our collective strengths and qualities. And no surprise that we see passion, thinking, hope, positive. No surprise that we see these things sort of bolded on the word cloud. These are all things that, you know, many of the students at SLU embody. So as I said at the top of the presentation, some of the most important connections you're going to make will be with your classmates and the teams of professionals that would support you at SLU. So to provide you with an opportunity to begin to make connections, we're going to move into program breakout rooms that will be led by your advisor. Breakout rooms are listed in the chat. If you do end up in the breakout room, wrong breakout room by any chance, please let the advisor in your room know, and we'll make sure to get you in the right room. We hope that you enjoy meeting your classmates. And I do so look forward to seeing you at part 2 of our orientation on August 18th. We'll take a few minutes to get you into your breakout room.